Hello everyone, this is Red from Red's Third Dimension Gaming, and today I'm bringing you a review on Resident Evil HD Remaster. First off, this game looks amazing compared to the original game. I went back and looked at some gameplay videos because I couldn't remember what Resident Evil 1 looked like. I played that game back when I was like 5 or 6 years old, so I don't remember what that game looked like. But when I went back and saw some YouTube videos on it, when I actually loaded it up on my PlayStation 3, that game looks like crap. And I thought the voice acting was bad in Resident Evil Remaster. I didn't think it was that great. That game was absolute crap when it comes to voice acting. The gameplay wasn't as good and refined as the HD Remaster or the GameCube version. And the intro was very funny.
Chris Redfield. Jill Valentine. Resident Evil.
So if you haven't played the GameCube version pretty much updated the graphics, they changed the intro, the cutscenes, everything about the game. And the HD Remaster, basically they refined the graphic. For instance, some of the environments and backgrounds were kind of not detailed. In this one, they're very detailed. You can see everything real clear in HD, everything in widescreen. You can actually go to full screen aspect ratio if you want. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can do that. Even the character models look like they came from Resident Evil 5 for Jill Valentine and Chris. It looks like they just took those characters out of there and they put them into this game. And there are more costumes in this game than Resident Evil the original had. The original looks really bad when you compare it to this. Now, some of the controls have been refined and changed since the GameCube version. If you haven't played the GameCube version, the original, you didn't have the analog stick controls as freeformed as this one. So when you use the analog sticks, you're always running, but you also can use the D-pad where you have to turn and then you have to go forward, which I hate, but you actually have to use it in some situations, like when you have to move this statue. Yes, because I couldn't freaking get the camera angle right, so I had to use the tank controls, and they're really, really annoying, but it's really good. But in this version, the gameplay has been fixed and is really good. It's just that camera angles sometimes are still horrible in this game. But I heard in the original, they were really bad. So I'm guessing it's better than the original when it comes to camera angles. But the gameplay overall is a lot better than the original and the GameCube version. There is one glitch that used to be in the GameCube version where you could duplicate your grenade ammo. In this version, that's gone. It's patched out. They don't have the grenade ammo glitch available in this, or maybe I just didn't do it right. But I believe they took it out. It's not in, from what I've seen in forums and blogs, it's not available. I think I was doing it right. It just doesn't work in this game. So that's good, because there's no cheaters allowed in this game. Except for the one channel that is on my other channels list. He basically downloaded it for free, and he also had mods on it. Which, why would you even want to watch a walkthrough where all they're using is mods? First off, that doesn't help you. Second, he had everything in the game. He didn't have to go through and find anything. So it's like, what's the point in this walkthrough? Is to show that you're a cheater? That's stupid. That doesn't help anyone, first off. Second off, I don't know. I just don't like it when people are stealing games like that. I imported the game, and I spent a heck of a lot of money. He just downloads it for free. And you don't even want to get me started on that, because I don't like it when people steal from developers. That's what you're doing. You're stealing from the developers. You're not paying them any money. They spend a lot of money just to upgrade the game. They had to change the entire background and everything. Like, they had to go in and detail every environment. They even changed the snake, Jan. He looks amazing in this game. Heck, he scared me a little bit. The sharks look amazing in this game. There are different bosses that they updated. One other difference in this game compared to the original. I believe they had it in the GameCube version, but I haven't played the GameCube version. One way to get rid of Crimson Head from ever appearing in the game is basically you burn their body with a kerosene flask that you can refill in different areas of the game, and you can burn their body. Or you can get a headshot, which is usually randomized unless you point up when they're really close to you and you shoot them in the head at the right time. You can get a headshot. If you blow off their head or you burn them, they're gone forever and they won't come back. And as a Crimson Head, they basically kill you instantly if you're playing on a hard difficulty. And another way to get rid of a zombie is you can use an incendiary round, and that'll just burn them right away, so they're gone. And those are the major differences from the original, and some minor differences from the GameCube version. Well, I guess it is a major upgrade because it's a 1080p. It runs at 60 frames per second on the PS4 and Xbox. I'm not sure about the Xbox one, but the PS4 it runs at 60 frames per second and 1080p. The PS3 and Xbox 360 is 720p, 30 frames per second. Another thing I liked about this game was that it has a lot of endings, so you can play the game multiple times and you can get different endings. It depends on what characters you keep alive and what moments of the game you keep them alive, or let them die or not save them at all. It keeps the game fresh and you can go through and do different scenarios, but some of the endings were kind of really dumb because they only changed minor things in the endings, so the endings weren't that great for me, except for some of them. But the best endings occur when you keep everyone alive, in my opinion. There is a new game plus type of mode in there where you can continue off the same save that you did before, but you don't get to keep all your keys, you don't get to keep all your supplies that you had, but it continues the game. If you beat the game under 3 hours on normal or hard, you cannot play the game on very easy or easy in under 3 hours and get the rocket launcher. And you get a trophy if you beat it under 3 hours. I believe that has to be on normal and hard too, but I'd have to look that up again. But you get an infinite rocket launcher, and it looks very strange. I saw how it looked. I haven't beaten it on 3 hours. I was trying to go for the 3 hours and no saves run on normal, and I died after 2 hours, and I just got really pissed off. If you beat the game under 5 hours on normal or hard, which is what you should try to attempt first instead of just going for the 3 hours, but you should save the game because if you die, then you gotta start over. Get the Samurai Edge, which is a Magnum, and that's supposed to have infinite ammo, but I haven't unlocked that yet either because I've been working on other games. I will attempt to do that in the future because you get trophies for all this stuff. If you beat the game once with Jill on any difficulty, you get military gear costume. If you beat the game twice with Jill on any difficulty, you get the Resident Evil 3 outfit. Now, on Chris's, you get an alternative outfit for him and Rebecca if you beat it on any difficulty. And you also get a new costume if you beat it on your second try. Overall, I really enjoyed the story of this game, but I already knew what was going to happen because the main bad guy in most Resident Evil games appears in it several times. I'm not going to give any more about that part of the story away to you. Favorite boss and enemy character in the game was Lisa Trevor, which if you read the stories about her, she's really interesting and she's really freaky, and it looks like she has like a face over top of her face, so kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre type of shit right there, and that's the first time I swore. And she's really freaky and her backstory is good. I don't think she was in the original Resident Evil game. She might have been in the GameCube version, but this is a really good side story to the whole game. None of the bosses are real difficult at all. You just have to figure out how to get past them. I like the fact that the bosses and enemies are more realistic than the other Resident Evil games. Like most enemies in the new ones have like a big eye that you shoot at. This one doesn't really have that. You just shoot at the enemy. And that's what the new ones went off of, like the Chimera, which are these they're like the bug creatures from Resident Evil 5. You fight them a lot in Resident Evil 5. And the Tyrant. That's basically what they based them on. That's a normal, realistic thing. A giant spider. They also have a giant snake. They have a giant plant. It's simple little things like that that make this game more realistic than the other Resident Evils. And it's the first one. It introduces you to the story, and the story is based around Wesker and Jill and Barry for the one story, and the other one is mainly based around Chris and Rebecca Chambers for the other story. And Wesker is a character that is in a lot of Resident Evil games, so there's no spoiler there if you played other Resident Evil games, but he's in a lot of Resident Evil games. And I really don't want to talk about the story, because if I say anything about it, I'll spoil it. I'll let the story sit on you guys there. If you haven't played the original Resident Evil, but you played 4, you're really gonna like this game, because the gameplay and the environments all kind of reminded me of Resident Evil 4. The way you move and everything. But in Resident Evil 4, I like the combat better. I wouldn't have minded if they changed the combat to Resident Evil 4, but I'm perfectly happy with the way they ended up having it. If you haven't heard of the phrase, if it's not broke, don't fix it, that's kind of what they did here. Like, if Square Enix redid Final Fantasy VII, finally, don't change the combat. Final Fantasy VII's combat is amazing. Don't change it. Just change the graphics. That's all Final Fantasy VII. You have the story. You have to get voice acting in there, but that's all you gotta change. Voice acting, graphics. That's it. Final Fantasy VII would be finished. All they have to do is keep the combat the same. And they said it'd take 10 years to finish, but Final Fantasy 15 has taken about 10 years or more just to complete. So you could have worked on Final Fantasy VII way back when you said that, instead of Final Fantasy 15, and we'd have it by now. So that's my little rant on that. But back to Resident Evil. It's an awesome game. The graphics are amazing compared to the last 2 versions of this game. The gameplay is more refined. It's better than any other Resident Evil original game. And the story, it's the original Resident Evil. I liked every aspect of this game except for the camera angles. And the gameplay could sometimes get a little difficult when you're trying to get away from these zombies. They're kind of hard to dodge. So if you're trying to go on a speed run to get that 3 hours and they get you, you lose health pretty fast on normal mode. 1 hit, you're almost dead. 2 hits, I believe you're gonna die soon, or you're dead, depending on how bad you got hit the first time. It's a really difficult game when you're trying to speedrun and try to dodge everything, because it's really hard. Because you have minimum amount of ammo, you have a minimum amount of plants laying around, and yeah, it's very difficult. I like that. I'm not a person that hates challenging games. I love this game. The game is only $19.99 in the PSN store, and if you buy for the PS4, you get it on the PS3 too. So that's amazing deal right there. There's also a way to link your Resident Evil and PSN account to the Resident Evil website, which is really cool because there's all this extra little info, and you gain points and all this cool stuff. They track your completion so far, how many weapons you've collected, how many enemies there are that you've faced, and it's a really cool experience online. So you have all these cool things in there. Also a leaderboard, so you can track your status against other PSN friends and people online, and I love this game. Overall, I'd give the game a 9 out of 10 because the camera angles, they need to be fixed. And there are other aspects of the game that I think they could have handled a little better. Like, the voice acting isn't the greatest, but it's better than the original. I'm also going to have a comparison video of the first game, GameCube, and this one in the same exact areas, and you can see the differences there. Also, don't forget to go to my walkthrough as I show you how to beat the game and how to get pretty much everything in the game. If you would like to buy a physical copy of the game, don't forget to use the Amazon link below, and that's the only way you can get a physical copy, is to buy the Japanese or Asian version of the game. It has English, Portuguese, it has a lot of languages on it, and I like a disc better than digital, but it's going to cost you about 2 to 3 times as much. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget the thumbs up, comment below, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next review.